Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and it's Paydirt review time again. And this time I'm going to be re-reviewing a seller I haven't reviewed in over 7 years, and that's Sluiceboy Prospecting over at sluiceboyprospecting.com. And the last time I reviewed him, it was a 1-pound bag that I purchased off of eBay, like I said, 7 years ago. So I'm pretty excited to dig into today's bag, and that's a 5-pound the Nugget bag. And I'll be interested to find out how this stacks up to a review from 7 years ago where I got about a 50% ROI. Now with this one, I'm not guaranteed a much higher return than that. I think it's guaranteed about a 55% return. So I'll be pretty interested to find out what it finalizes at and see how it compares to 7 years ago. So let's just flash up the description and go to the overhead. As you saw, a really good description. I do wish it told you a little bit more about the material and if it would be hard to pan out or not, but other than that, a really good description. Now, as the description stated, it does come with some reading material as well as a small vial. I was hoping for a really big vial because then that means I might find some big gold, but it does come with a vial, some panning tips, and a flyer for their website. The description also states that it is 5 pounds of material. So let's weigh this up and see if it is 5 pounds. And there you go, 5 pounds, 3.6 ounces. And we're going to open this up. We have to cut it because it's got a metal crimp on it, which is actually pretty good. Let's dump out some of this material. Let's check it out. It does look damp. So we will have to dry this before we classify it. Check it, see if it's got any magnetite, and it is definitely damp material. Does have a little bit of magnetite, but if you heard that, it's pretty much on the chunky side for magnetics. So we'll have to see when we're panning it how difficult it is, but let's go dry this up, classify it down, and be right back. Okay, all done classifying, and as you can see, the vast majority of this material is in the lower 2 classifications with pretty equal amounts in the -20, +40, and the -40. And not much in the other 2 classifications. There is a little bit in here, but this +10, there's really not too much in here. I did see some gold in there, but this being a Nugget bag, I was really hoping for a lot more +10 material. So I'm going to be curious to find out where the gold is in this. I really hope there's some good gold in these lower 2 classifications because this is going to be a lot of panning. This is a 5-pound bag, and this is at least 4 pounds of the material. So I'm hoping there's some gold in here. But the only way to find out is to actually go pan it out. So let's go get some water and do just that. So I have my water, have my pan, have my 5 pounds of Paydirt here from Sluiceboy Prospecting, and let's get started with the +10 and listen to some music. Well, finished panning everything out as you saw, and that was some fairly difficult Paydirt to go through, mostly due to the amount of material I had to pan out, but we'll get into that in a minute. For right now, let's show you the gold I found. In the plus 10, I did find 3 little pieces in there. I would call those pickers. I wouldn't call them nuggets, that's for sure, but some people might. In the minus 10 plus 20, even more gold. Another couple little pieces in there, about 8 or 9 pieces. In the minus 20 plus 40, even more gold. A nice little pile, which was really good because that was a lot of material to pan out. So I'm glad I found a nice little pile of gold in it. And lastly, in the minus 40, even more gold, but not very much, especially considering how much material was in that minus 40. Let's turn on the scale, weigh this up. The plus 10, 0.475. Oh no. Someone just asked me yesterday if I ever spilled gold, and now I just spilled gold. Minus 10 plus 20, 0.145. Minus 20 plus 40, 0.385. And I know this isn't going to budge a scale, but let's see. Minus 40. Nope. Let's weigh it all up. $1.005. And now let's talk about how difficult it was to pan this out. Now for this 5-pound bag, it was fairly difficult, mostly because there was so much material to pan out. It did have a little bit of black sands and it did cloud up the water a little bit, but it was mostly due to the volume. So for a beginner, I'm going to give this a hard. For an advanced panner, I'm going to give it a medium. And for an expert panner, I'm going to give it an easy. All right, finished calculating my ROI, writing up my review, and let's get right to it. This again was from Sluiceboy Prospecting. It was their 5-pound nugget bag, and it was guaranteed 0.9 grams of gold. They have updated their website, and I used it in my description earlier, and now it is guaranteed 1 gram of gold. But when I purchased this bag, it was only guaranteed 0.9 grams. Its cost was $108.99. Shipping was free, so total cost right here, $108.99. Now the gold I recovered, again, right here, 1.005 grams, which tested out at 18 to 22 carats. Now the gold spot on the day that this bag was received was $57.97, making this gold worth $58.26, giving me an ROI of 53.45%, or on my scale, a 5.3. And I have to say, I'm very disappointed in that ROI. A 53% when you're spending over $100, I just don't see that happening. There's too many sellers out there that will give you a 70% ROI on cheaper bags of Paydirt. So really not happy with a 53% ROI. Now for fun factor, I'm going to leave it at 5.3 as well. I was going to deduct a couple points because I don't consider the pickers in the plus 10 to be nuggets, but some people might. And I also was going to bump it up a little bit because it is a lot of material to go through, which is a little bit more fun. But they counteracted each other, and the fun factor is staying at a 5.3. For Paydirt description, they're getting an 8. It's a pretty good description. It could use a little bit more information, but it is really good. For quantity and packaging, they're getting a 10. It was over the 5 pounds stated, and the packaging was really good. It is double bagged, and it is also wrapped in a bubble mailer before it is put in the final shipping container. So 10 for quantity and packaging. For customer service and shipping, they're also getting a 10. The customer service was excellent, and the shipping was really, really quick. So a 10 again. So total score for Sluiceboy Prospecting's 5-pound nugget bag is a 7.7. And most of that has to do with the description, the packaging, and the shipping. Unfortunately, the gold is a little bit lacking in here. I really think this should have been at least a 70% ROI. I understand some companies are trying to make money, but there's a lot better ways. You'll do a lot more volume if you have a 70% ROI than a 53% ROI, especially when this is their most expensive bag. I can understand lower ROIs on lower priced bags, but when you're spending over $100, a 70% ROI is not unheard of. So that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy panning. And if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button below.